We're only gonna do one encore tonight. This is called Sorrow.
In May of 2013, The National walked on stage at a venue in Queens to play Sorrow, a song off their 2010 record High Violet, and would go on to play it another 98 more times. But why though? This was the idea of Icelandic performance artist Ragnar Kjartansson, who is no stranger to joining music and repetition in a lot of his projects. Just a year before, his piece titled Bliss had several actors and an orchestra playing the final few minutes of Mozart's The Marriage of Figaro on repeat for 12 hours. In another one of his projects, The Visitors, he had 9 screens in a dark room, each on a different musician simultaneously performing their parts of the same hour-long piece of music in synchronicity. Key amongst a lot of his previous work lies explorations of pathos and humor, and he uses repetition and endurance as a way of expression. In fact, the themes of sorrow, the concept, were something he was fascinated by since listening to The Cure as a teenager, and would continue to explore as his artistic career matured. So, naturally, when The National's High Violet dropped, Ragnar simply could not stop listening to it, with his sights firmly set on Sorrow.
When I had the idea to do the piece, I had already listened to this song maybe 800 times. While doing the dishes, while walking out, while driving in my car, all this. It's just a song that, and this whole album, High Violet, really became a soundtrack of my life.
The lyrics to Sorrow are about one's love affair with their own sadness. They depict the way in which it can insidiously infiltrate someone's life, reflected even in the sweetest pursuits of pleasure.
Sorrow's my body on the waves. Sorrow's a girl inside my cave.
And yet, even in this bleak circumstance where it's completely enveloped the narrator's life, there comes this resistance to completely letting it go.
'Cause I don't wanna get over you.
It was a perfect song for what Ragnar had in mind, and proposing the idea of a 6-hour-long performance of Sorrow turned out to be an easy ask for the band. So, with their eager involvement, the stage was set, the pieces were in place, and all that was left to do was to perform it.
Sorrow found me when I was young.
I decided one afternoon to listen to the whole thing, though I simply had to resist trapping myself in a room with Sorrow for 6 hours. And strangely, throughout its entirety, I never got tired of the song. With the hypnotic guitar strums and circular repetitions of the hi-hats, the song effortlessly carries over across each iteration. While the band agreed to stick closely to the structural core of the song, you can hear brief experimentations and additions as the show persisted forward. From a version completely absent of any drumming to a brief, speedy rendition.
Sorrow found me when I was young. Sorrow waited, sorrow won.
And you can even spot when the lead singer, Matt Berninger, is eating in between songs.
Sorrow found me when I was young. Sorrow waited, sorrow won.
Each iteration, either contributing embellishments or subtracting familiar elements, helped to keep the song fresh, alive, and breathing throughout the entire show. For the most part, the show functioned as an interminable playlist of sorrow, allowing its lyrics and cyclical instrumentation to ruminate and ingrain themselves into the listener's mind, seeing what effect it might have. However, the culmination of the endurance and the intimacy and the communion, and what was subsequently the highlight of the entire show, manifests just 5.5 hours in. After approximately 94 sorrows, the crowd applauds as a new gentle rendition of Sorrow begins, and Matt Berninger suddenly has a very tough time getting through the song.
Sorrow's my body on the waves. Sorrow's a girl.
As he continues to wear down from his trademark brooding baritone vocals, everyone on stage and in the crowd join in to help sing along.
Don't leave my heart alone. Wall, cover me, dragon bone, sympathy. 'Cause I don't wanna get over you.
He said in an interview that by that point, he was losing his nerve a little and was looking around the room for his wife and daughter, having not seen them for the entire performance. Even though he knew they were around somewhere, their absence suddenly brought up this swell of emotion, and that particular rendition became difficult to glide through. And that moment was something that was only further amplified when preceded by all the sorrow before it. When Matt breaks down, it's the unintended culmination of the entire experience. It was a bizarre catharsis to hear that visceral of a reaction and to have it be intimately shared with the audience. As the entire excursion drew to a close, I couldn't help but focus on how the song perfectly scored the entire day. For a song so candidly sorrowful, there was humor as the crowd would applaud in between each sorrow. There was humor when I coyly questioned to myself what song they might play next, but I also found the sense of melancholia that inspired the project. And the sincere lack of fatigue from repeated listens cemented the song as a timeless piece of music. Matt has gone on to say that this entire project was one of the most enjoyable and strangely cathartic things he's ever done. Not just the emotional weight of the day, but also the dozens of folks who stayed with the band from the second they started up until they finished, made the entire experience something intimately moving. Sorrow isn't simply just a song about sadness. While it does greatly embody the kinds of infestations those feelings can have, it also dances with the comforting and humorous attachments to such an affliction. And this 6-hour show serves to honor that duality in practice, whilst also amplifying the beauty of melancholia. On the back of The Cure's 9th album, Wish, there is a quote that had a huge impact on Ragnar's art and pinned sorrow as a thread persisting throughout most of his work. Our sweetest songs are those that tell of saddest thought.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you for sticking around. You're all very kind and patient. Good night.